Good morning, it's Barry with Growing Roots Farm. How's it going? Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, and I'm just going over reasons why we're raising sheep. It seems like no matter who I talk to, friends, family, just an acquaintance, some random stranger, anybody, their normal question to us about why we're raising sheep is the question why, especially when they know that both my wife and I came off of cattle farms. Now, just to give you all a little bit of background, we both grew up on cattle farms, also grew up on a hog farm, but we moved into subdivisions, and we didn't stay on the farms our whole lives. We're in our mid-40s. We have since kind of gotten back to our roots, so to speak, Growing Roots Farm. Nice little pun there, huh? Horrible dad joke. But the reason for it, I'm going to go over it a little bit. I don't want you just staring at my face the whole time, so I'll show you the sheep instead. But there's our sheep, and the sheep just now moved away. They have been standing right beside me the whole time. So, reasons why we're raising sheep instead of cattle. Okay, now keep in mind this video is in 2024. If any of you happen to know about cattle prices right now, people with pre-existing herds of cattle, it's fantastic news. They have got record sales, or near record sales, near record highs for cattle prices at stockyards. The thing that's bad is for a newcomer, if you're trying to get into the business, you're having to pay the high-end price. So it may not be the smartest thing in the world. We also only have roughly 22 acres, and if we only have 22 acres, that's not a lot of cattle. However, hey sweetie, number 7 always loves being pet. She's sweet, you. She had good lambs too. I'm just going to keep petting her the whole time. But so sheep, we can get a lot more on our acreage. They're also much more gentle and easier for us to handle. So there's a lot of advantages. The one huge advantage, other than the cost, the one huge advantage for us is it takes a cow from the time it's born roughly 3 years until it can deliver another cow. You're looking at roughly 2 years to reach maturity, and then roughly 10 months until they deliver. So you're looking at close to 3 years before you get another lineage in there, so to speak. I don't know if that's the right terminology or not. But with sheep, these ewes turned, let me get away from that plant. These ewes turned 1 year old right at the time that they delivered their lambs. All 3 of the 4 of them had twins. So we were able to more than double our flock within just a year. And that has an exponential growth to it. If you continue doing that, if you continue holding on to the ewes and you just sell the ram lambs or just the rams, and you hold on to the ewes and you keep reproducing every year, your rate of growth is just so much faster than with cattle. Now you might say, well, yeah, cattle get a lot more price in the stockyards. Sheep don't sell for nearly as much. They're not in as much demand, and I understand that. For anybody who's not vegan or vegetarian, but who doesn't love a good steak or hamburger? I understand that. I'm right there with you. But the sheep are able to grow at such a faster rate that it just makes a lot more sense for our small acreage to be able to bring them on here. They're ruminant. You can see they're eating everything down. They're doing great with that. They love all the clover. Clover really took off this year. We've had a lot of clover. We seeded clover, this little sidebar, we seeded clover in a frost seed. I think we did that in February or early March, and it seemed to help a lot. It seemed like the clover took, because we did not have this amount last year, nowhere near it. But anyway, back to the sheep. The sheep also they're just gentle, they're easy for us to move. With us doing a rotational system, we're able to move them every 2 days. And it's simple. You know, the only thing, and this is what I tell people as far as raising sheep, if you're going to do it a similar way to how we do, where they're not in a barn, they're out in the pasture the entire time. The thing you got to have, and I see I got to tighten these up, we have our perimeter is all electrified, okay? It's all electrified, fiberglass T-post. If you haven't watched any of the fencing videos, I'll try to link it right here. But once you have your perimeter set up, and you can see, I want to walk around here. Once you have your fencing set up, as long as you set it up in an organized manner, that's your big expense, is your fencing. The sheep aren't all that expensive to get into, and if you just hold on to all the females, you can keep growing with them and not have to put a lot more expense into it. But you can see here, when we did our fencing, here's our post. Let's see if I can block the sun. There's the paddock. So they were just over here. They come into here, we petition it off. They'll come in here, this is just they're just gonna loop around. And then they're going into this section. See how I've got the fences here? That's where they came from. It's where they're at now. That's where they'll be going. And then they'll just keep going back down along that fence and down out towards the main part of the property. As long as you do that, and with the way we're doing it with rotational, using the reels, there's not an easier animal on our property now that the fencing's done. And I'm being very truthful about that. And we just hook our reels onto the electrified fence, and that electrifies that. Also, the center line is not electrified normally, but it gets connected with a hot wire. So once we connect the hot wire to it, it then is electrified. Look at them sheep coming back over here. Once again, reason to raise sheep over cattle. Yeah, the cattle might come to you, but you know, these are so much more friendly and easier for us to handle. They're just simple. Now, one note on the sheep. Our ewes are a little bit thin right now. They're starting to put some more weight back on. They just got done. They just got the boys weaned off of them, and they've been kicking the girls off of them. So they're self-weaning. But once we took the ram lambs off of them, I'm starting to see our ewes gaining weight again. They've been eating a ton. They have this all the time available to them. But they've had, it's been hot, and they're just doing better. They're starting to turn the corner now that we got the boys off of them. But those are some reasons why. It's the cost. Okay, so let me just recap. It's the cost of the initial investment in getting in. Cattle are much more expensive. Sheep are cheaper to get into. The next thing is the rate at which they reproduce. Cattle, you're looking at roughly 3 years from the time it's born to the time it can deliver a calf. And then ewes, you're looking at 1 year. 1 year old, if you're able, they are lambing. They grow right along with the lamb. So, and they twin a lot of times. Most of them twin. Like I said, ours was a 75% twin rate. We had one single and the rest were twins. So they did really well with that. The other reasons are they're just easy to handle. If I have to, I can grab them, I can pick them up. If I have to, can't do that with a cow. Even Ferdy, he was a bottle cap. He's really gentle, but he weighs several hundred pounds right now, and he can toss you around if he wants to. So there's a lot of advantages to sheep over cattle, but we get that question all the time. And I think there is a bit of a stigma in our country as far as sheep. I've seen some other videos on it, on maybe the reasons why there's a stigma with sheep versus cattle, and I'm sure there is. When I grew up, it was primarily all beef. Everything was beef. So I think as a country, we're used to that. Farmers are more, it's just generally thought of as like if you're farming any livestock, the number one tends to be cattle. But the sheep for us on our property, and right now, because these things change, this is always fluid. But right now, this works really well for us. They're doing well. They're eating all the grass. They're trampling everything down. They're helping improve our soil life, because for years there had been nothing done on this property. No animals. I think the bottom down here was mowed off for hay twice a year, but there was no fertilizers, no nothing. It had just been dormant. And really the grasses and everything here were pretty poor when we moved in. So they're still not what we want them at, but they're getting better every year, and these animals are helping to do that. So if you've watched all this so far, please give me a like, and give me a comment. Love the comments as always. Stay tuned for next time. Thank you.